You are a country with the highest number of poor people living in one country. 130-something million. You've even gone beyond where a combination of the two biggest countries in the world, which is India and China put together, nearly 3 billion, you have more people living in poverty than two of them combined. And you're worried that somebody called you now disgrace. Why don't you look back and know where there's anything that's causing you disgrace behind you? You're a country where you have 20 million people, children out of school. No other country. And you're not worried that somebody called you non-disgraced. We've overtaken India, 7 times our population in infant mortality, and you're worried that somebody called you non-disgraced. You're one of the hungriest country of the world. Even Ukraine at war dashed you grain to fight hunger, and you're saying non-disgrace. Why don't you look back and know whether there's a disgrace behind you that you can deal with? You're one of your safest places to live in. And that's what I want you people to look at when you read it. It's not about, because some of us, often when we say, even people say, oh, you are demarketing the country. It is not demarketing, to tell the truth. For example, we remove subsidy. We've unified the currency. Oh, for God's sake, you cannot do this too, because you've seen one bank now and said, Nigeria took this decision. But why is that this good decision not working for us? Because you cannot tell people to fast when you're 50. You need to deal with the executive rascality of expenditure before your monetary policies can work. You need to deal with corruption. You need to deal with the issue of the cost of running government. We've just had a new mayor of New York. I said, the young man, his own age, level of 36, 40. I said, Google his net worth. He's worth about $200,000. He's running a city with a budget of about 115 billion, 3 times Nigerian budget. Yet, if they see that young man with 2 vehicles on the road, I can assure you, he will not be mayor the next day. 2 vehicles, I didn't say 3, 2. He just said, I'm mayor of New York. I cannot move around like this. I said, that is the problem. We have a California that is the 6th biggest country in the world, with almost a 5 trillion economy. They don't have a lodge in Washington. If the governor tries to put a watch, it will be dismantled. So these are things we need to start looking. For me, I want you people to do tour. President, go to your national hospital. You can't stay there. The stench there will not allow you to stay there. It's your #1 hospital in the world. The budget of that place is about 10% of the budget of National Assembly Clinic. It's your #1 hospital. If you look at your 2024 budget, the National Assembly Clinic had about 15 billion. Your 6 biggest teaching hospitals, Ibadan, University of Ibadan, Nsukka, University of Lagos, University of Maiduguri, Ilorin and Jos put together is not up to that amount. They are capital vote. That is what we need to start thinking. So when they say non-disgrace, you look back and see whether there's disgrace. We're building 4 biggest bus stations in the 4th geopolitical zone for 142 billion, where you don't have a primary health care in all those regions. That is 60% is unfunctional. Mothers can't go to hospital. and give birth and be alive. And we are building bus station. Which bus? So we can go on and on, but please know that we have a country. Like we remove subsidy. Where is the savings of the subsidy? Where are the gains of it? Where is it impacting? Despite the fact that we remove subsidy, we borrowed more money. And all this borrowing, like I asked a few days ago, and they said I'm not advising the young ones very well. Go and check the Euro bonds we're issuing now. They are 1948, 1949, 1951, 1952. I'm definitely sure people like me will not be there. It's our children that will pay it. And so what are we investing that they will use to pay it when it matures? Nothing. Because we are eating that money. This is time for everybody to help. Finally, please, we are in democratic dispensation. You have to be the voice of opposition. I'm happy, I must thank you people for inviting us. Because we were never invited. So it's the first time, so I must thank you people for the opportunity to even say hello. I was surprised when I saw the invitation. I said, opposition invited. Maybe. But when they told me where you were doing the opening, I said, I won't go there. But they said there is another place. So I can tell you what I thought at last. I said, I won't go there. Because now that they brought it to where people like us can come, we come. But I can tell you, this is how it's done everywhere in the world. You must help that the oppositions be heard. You must help us to start solving the issue of having strong opposition, strong institutions, so that people can speak out. Nobody wants, Peter Obidients is not desperate to be president of Nigeria. I'm desperate to see Nigeria work for my children. I'm lucky where I am today. My children might not be that lucky. So we must stop this abuse of our country. And all of us, I need. Those who are in office today are not going to be in office forever. People have passed through there. They're even going to die. So why don't we build a better place for our children? Why are we destroying the place our children are going to live in? For a country that God blessed with everything, gave every opportunity. So help the opposition, help the voice, help the parties. I recall what Yaradua always said every day. May his soul rest in me. Yaradua told the INEC chairman in front of me, he said, I want all parties to work. I don't like all these things that he said parties have problems. Now we have situations where people are happy that other parties are having problems. How can you be happy that other people are not well in a system where everybody is supposed to be well? My dear people, let us fight the abuse. It will take its revenge on our children. God bless you.
Thank you so much for that. Please will find your indulgence to hold on for a second.
Let me, my dear sister, and assure everybody, if there's one person who have benefited from the media, I'll count myself as one. Just like I keep telling people that there's one man who have benefited from Nigerian judiciary, I'll count myself as one. I went to court when I was impeached. I went to court after my election without meeting the 5 judges. They gave judgment in my favor without meeting them. I went to court of appeal without meeting the judges. They gave judgment in my favor. I was removed and I went to Supreme Court for interpretation without knowing one Supreme Court judge, meeting them. The 7 of them agreed with me. But I can tell you, nobody can get that in Nigeria today. Let's be realistic. If it was today, in fact, they might even fine me for coming to court without seeing them at all. I would have gone. So the same thing. I look at the wonderful people here who have done good, been fantastic journalists without even asking anybody for anything. People are reading every day. They're all over here. People who have written for nothing. And they do it with their listen. But I'm also urging you people, the ones coming after you are not doing the same thing. No. Let's be realistic. You know, there's a times we had people who wrote from their mind. The younger ones are not writing like that. I'm appealing to the older ones. You need to, because it's beginning to change gradually, where it's now turning into the same thing we are seeing in the judiciary and everywhere. So it is important that we start reversing it because it's critical. I'm not looking for people to write what will please Peter Obi. Just write for the country. Write for the future of our children. That makes all the difference and everything. Thank you. And further explanation on the issue which I said of subsidy. If you read the statement of removal of subsidy, he said, we will not, for us to stop borrowing, and the gains of the subsidy to be invested in turning around the economy. In fact, after some few months, they were announcing the gains of the subsidy. Just the gains of unification. But I can tell you, even this year, we have overborrowed our target by almost 70% this year alone. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong in borrowing. Any day I'm a businessman. There's nothing wrong in a national borrowing. Most of the countries we want to emulate are in debt. America is 124% of their GDP in debt. China is almost about 80% now. Any other country, Indonesia, everything have been. They were borrowed. But where is the debt being utilized? Where is the investment? What is happening to it? That is the critical thing that we need to do. Where is those savings? Where is those savings? Why is it not impacting on our critical area of development, education, health, and pulling people out of poverty? Why is it not impacting? Because those savings and those borrowing are mismanaged. If they are managed properly, you will see a difference. This is a country people used to come, medical tourism to Ibadan, to everywhere. Nobody comes here. I just gave you an example of a clinic, of a hospital that you can attend to here in Abuja. And I can go on and tell you other things that are not just working. So we have saved money, we've borrowed money. What are we doing? I go to schools, and every day, I was in school in Ibadan yesterday, and you see the same thing. I give you an example now. Wike has just announced that they can now only do Wike exam through using laptop. Hey, which secondary school have laptop here? Which secondary school? One is that the number of people in our secondary school is too low. For a country of over 230 million people, the number of people in our secondary school is supposed to be at least 30 million, but they're under 17 million. Yet, since they announced it, I took time. As at last week, I visited 18 schools. And what I do is that, where is the laptop for the Wike? None. Where is the laptop for the Wike? Assuming we decide to provide 15 million children laptop at cost of 100,000 naira each, It's 1.5 trillion. Are you saying this country cannot afford it? With all the waste we are throwing every year. That's what we're saying. So let us know that this money we took from here, this is where it is. That's the only development is all about. It's all rocket science. I've traveled all over the world and I see where people are borrowing. Look at our SMEs. Our SMEs are dying. Small businesses are dying. SME everywhere in the world drives 60% of their business. Here is dying. What is their biggest problem? Access to capital and training. Nobody can borrow money at something percent and survive. You go to Indonesia, a comparable country, they are borrowing money at 6%. These are things the savings should have helped us to manage and everything. They are not helping us. So it is question of, that's why I said, you're asking people to fast and you're feasting. It will not work. We need to cut down on the rascality, physical rascality we are going through. Deal with this issue of corruption.
Shame on you. Wike don't go with the truck. Soldier win this fight too. FCDA. Only one Hilux of soldier.
Every time they go, they're supposed to give order, say, may they destroy.
May they destroy. FCDA don't park their truck though. Wike don't go. You want to collect soldier land?
You know why? People when they die for their land, they die for this land. Now you go for letter from them. Very short now. Very short. Now these people they die for this land. If anything won't happen now.
I'm telling you, we cannot carry shame go. Same boys on the floor. Power pass power.
Yes,
Power pass power.
Now, what is it? The uniform is not about who is wearing it. The uniform represents the authority of the state. Whether it's a small boy or not, it is the authority of the state. It's even worse when it is a commission officer who has a presidential commission. And so when you make such disparaging comments, you have desecrated the oath. You have desecrated the oath. What you have told the commander-in-chief and the authority that invested that position on him is that they are fools. So it is wrong. So when a son says that the minister has authority over land and it's not the duty of a soldier, that is not the issue. Now, if you have any reason to believe that what the young man is doing, there is a channel. That's the rule of law. So you desecrating the oath, it has not. I know that over the years, we have lost our educational traction. Civics that ought to be taught, these are things that primary school pupils, secondary school pupils ought to know, that even adults don't know anymore. The whole essence of contracts, all right, the compact that you have with the states, that every individual has ceded his right to the state. It's because of things like this. So that we will not, at April 29, take laws into our hand. It is not a jungle. So if the state has, designated certain establishment and they get them a uniform for you to be able to easily recognize them. Because today now, am I the CDS? I'm not CDS. Look at what I'm wearing. But assuming I was wearing uniform today, it's a different matter entirely. The officer that's in question, if you see him tomorrow wearing uniform, you wearing mufti, you will not see him. So what distinguishes the police, the military, and other agencies is the uniform. And so we should respect and honor the uniform. And that's what we should tell our children. That every Nigerian, when you see them, are they doing what is right? They may not be doing what is right. But then it is not your duty to now lay your hands on them. So otherwise, we're in a jungle. That's exactly what's happening. That counter-terrorism has become a ding-dong thing. If you go to social media, nobody knows what is right and what is wrong. What was done with good intention is misinterpreted because of sins like that. That will give a wrong impression to those tomorrow. People will now think that when you see a military man, you should slap him. It's a jungle. Even police, why will you do that to a policeman? Me, as a general, I can't slap my soldier. I can't touch him. I can't use my hand on him. If I do that, either I apologize to him or I will be disciplined. The same thing across the world. Don't you see, even when police is brutalizing a citizen in US, trying to strangle, all the people around, do they go to hole? No. Because they respect the uniform. But is he misusing the uniform? Yes. Will he be dead to it? Yes.
I was wondering what the minister of the FCT, as a lawyer, far senior at the bar, was doing enforcing land grabbing issues personally. Ordinarily, as lawyers, these are matters of the courts. When the court order is finally given, I did not hear whether one was given as regards this land's repossession. It will be handled by the bailiffs because you have to get the entire system, the police informed, the bailiffs will, get the court CTC of the judgment, go there, arrange an enforcement of a repossession before they get on site. So I know that the FCT minister is not the one who should personally take over the work of court bailiffs. If this was not, done through the courts, I don't see why. I faulted, because I saw the video from TVC News where he personally arrived at the venue and there was a caterpillar in the same venue. As in, you come and enforce by yourself. That is completely wrong. The only civilian who has the authority to give orders to any military officer is the president. Every other orders come from the chief of army staff down the ranks all the way to whatever rank that man was holding. And so the FCT minister should have just made a call. Maybe to his principal, the president, or to the chief of army staff if he has any authority to do that, or maybe as ESCO members, call them, let them know that somebody under their establishment is confronting your office. Let it be handled, and I don't think it should even be those calls. If you want to repossess a land, you repossess it, lock it. When the person continues to build, the repossession order remains, you get to court, you do what you do it through the court. And the FCT minister has been the one sponsoring hostels in the law schools, sponsoring cars for judicial officers, as a legal officer himself, his wife a legal officer of the bench. He shouldn't. So we don't respect rule of law, so we blow a lot of lines. A lot of us now that are lawyers, we are confused as to what is the real rule, what is the operating rule or ground, the Nigerian way of doing it, and it continues to confuse as time goes. So these are opportunities where you set things right. You do things by the books and how you should go, so that children don't grow up thinking there are no rules. You can do it anyhow. Where you talk to a military officer, I can see a military officer and say, you're a fool and all of that at a site. Those are completely wrong.
What are the 6 laws that Wike broke? Very quickly. And what can we do? Number 1, he broke Section 26 and Section 27 of the Armed Forces Act. Obstruction of a service person using, threatening, insulting, and abusive language that interfere with a soldier's lawful duty is an offense. And Wike did it in full glare, embarrassing him. That's one. 2, Penal Code. Sections 397, criminal intimidation, insult and annoyance. Sections 114, obstruction of public servant. Section 400, conduct likely to breach the peace. This section of the Penal Code, Wike breached them. Wike's shouting, threats, and public humiliation of an officer falls under these sections of the Penal Code. Number 3, Public Order Act. Section 10, disorderly behavior. In public places, disorderly or notorious behavior is punishable if it threatens public peace and disrupts official operations. That soldier was given an order. Whether you think the order was a right one or a wrong one, he is bound by military discipline to obey it. So if you have any issues, you take it up with his military command, not him. Number 4, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Section 15, subsection 5. The 5th schedule, Part 1 of the Code of Conduct for Public Officers. And they pose a requirement for respect of the dignity of office, avoidance of behavior that could bring office into disrepute, avoiding abuse of authority. All of this Wike violated. Code of Conduct Bureau Act, Sections 9 and Sections 11. Public officers must behave with dignity and discipline, and they must not engage in conduct detrimental to the reputation of their office. Wike's outburst clearly breaches these standards. Then number 6, Public Service Rules, 2008, revised. Public Service Rule 030301, misconduct. It includes unruly behavior, abuse of power, and disgraceful conduct. Public Service Rule 030402, serious misconduct, includes acts prejudicial to the security and dignity of the service. Insulting a uniformed security personnel squarely falls under this. It is not enough to just condemn his action or call him out on social media. We must take physical things because there are potential consequences that he can face. Fortunately for us, Wike does not have immunity as a minister. And we have nothing to lose if we file official complaints. He could be made to pay fines. He could go to prison for up to 3 years under the Penal Code. He could be sanctioned by the Code of Conduct Tribunal. He could be given administrative sanction, suspension, warning, reprimand, even removal. He could be made to be removed. This is not the time to say, oh, who owns the court? Wike owns the court. No. If we don't file something in black and white, we miss the opportunity. There's a power to putting something in black and white. Let's do it.